started it.
Jump in the deep end. So
My name is Perrie and this is my exhibition. I've submitted a few different pieces.
So what's this about then?
This is an idea I've been working on for a couple of months. I've called it 9 to 5. And without being overcomplicated, I would say that this is my representation of what it feels like to be in the world of the hamster wheel and the crux of life almost.
Yeah.
So I've called it 9 to 5. It represents the 8-hour working day. And all I do is just wait for the bucket to fill up. And when the bucket's full, I just switch them out and pour it in the top. And I'm trying to give the impression that I'm waiting for the tank to fill. But any rational person will come to the conclusion that my efforts is kind of futile.
Yeah. So you pour it in and it's just coming straight back out again?
Yeah. And it's like I'm trying to reach for this ball, and this ball is it can be any sort of goal in life. For me, I would say that this is like having a house, or just feeling comfortable whereabouts you live almost. Even if you've got a house, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's home.
Yeah.
Some homes are just houses, you know. And in some respects, they're all home, and they're so to pay rent would be like £700 a month, which is a lot. So that represents a lot of our time.
Yeah.
So it's this idea that a lot of our time is just wasted. It's like not wasted, but it's kind of spoken for already. So we have this baseline of survival, where that you need somewhere to live, somewhere to eat, and that comes at a cost. And that cost is high now. It's that equates to a big portion of your life, and that life takes energy. It takes part of you. So people say oh, youth wasted on the young, but is it? We almost fall for these traps ourselves. A lot of people aspire to have bigger houses, so that's where it's being more involved.
Yeah.
And then there's more taps, it's just draining quicker.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just this constant battle against.
Like time in it is almost like an hourglass, like the sand running through your fingers.
Yeah.
Is that why you've got just a clock?
The clock just seems so fitting.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm committing myself to standing here for 8 hours, for 5 days, and it takes a minute to fill a bucket, but I wouldn't even like to go into the map. It gives me this underlying anxiety as well, because I'm still interacting with people, I'll still be talking, and then you get distracted in conversations.
Yeah.
Occasionally I've been I'd need to run to this tap.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of like how life is, you might just be out on holiday enjoying yourself and spending money, but also you've got that underlying anxiety of how much you're spending.
Yeah. And I still need to go back to work and.
Go to work,
Yeah.
Obviously that's just about you having liner buckets and putting it in. It's hard it's hard for me to talk about, so this is where to me something like this just it's like I've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come up with an idea and you just try and explain it. I just play with buckets of water for a couple of days so that I've got something to distract me with. Any other questions there?
Well, how does it tie in with the rest of the pieces that you've got going on here?
Same again, I want to use the word pointless because it's just direct. I'm not saying that I'm a nihilist or that life's pointless and I'm like depressed and stupid things, but there is an underlying pointlessness to stuff. Like, why do we want this? Why do you not? Why do we do what we do? So all of them have I would say, an underlying hum of pointlessness. So I've got barbecue sauce, which is I would say like a stab at McDonald's because they're charging me for barbecue sauces. So it's like, okay, well if they put a value on this and they're saying that barbecue holds a value, why as an artist can I not take that value and add to it by making it limited edition, signing it, and making it totally unique by picking it down on a plinth and then saying that it's special. It's just the same as running something off of a printer. It's just the same as an artist.
So you would say that barbecue sauce is a work of art?
It's a stab at the way that people add value to things. They say, oh, there's only 44 of them, so all of a sudden now it's more valuable. It's rubbish. It is. It's just lame. It's just stuck some random items together, and it genuinely is art because I've added a value. I've added a uniqueness. It's like you can deny it, you can argue, but well.
Gosh, those buckets really do fill up quick, don't they?
Yes. a minute.
That's crazy.
Takes a minute, and they're pretty heavy. 14 litres of water. Yesterday when I've done it, by the time I was going home, I had like chest, like pains here in between my ribcage from like
So
repetitive injury stress.
Back-breaking labour.
Not back-breaking,
But
you've
like,
tried to live on
I've
yourself.
tried to live on them.
You've
They are
become
heavy.
a football.
Yeah. So that adds to that feeling of this is so pointless, and it's affecting me in more ways than one.
It just does work with.
Yeah.
Like that. Driving a photo, driving a truck, people do the same thing week in, week out, week in, week out.
Do you think that could sort of relate to that barbecue sauce? You say there's 44 of them.
There is, yeah. That's that sitting down mass production. And then, same again, a lot of my artwork, the explanation comes in the hindsight, like what am I feeling at that moment. I'm writing it down in poems and stories and stuff, but they're just more like notes to take you back to that feeling, like you. That was like a revenge thing. I was unhappy at the time. The fact that 2 portions of chips had already cost me £4.40 and that they wanted 10 to eat more. It felt. It's fired up some belly and fired something up in my belly and just met that.
And it sort of relates to that. Oh, it's not just £4.40. That's half an hour of my working time. That's half an hour of my life.
Yeah.
Half an hour of this draining away for some chips. It's 30 buckets of water for chips.
30. But yeah, like it's just symbolic of like anyone.
I suppose it also like brings into that question of like value of your time. It's equated to money.
Where do you want to keep this level? Do you want to be running down here and having a lot of your time to yourself? Do you want to be able to get whatever you want whenever you want? But you never have any time. It's this. How much time have I got to interact with? Do I want to be switching these buckets out at a constant pace and trying to run myself into the ground?
Just to try and get that ball higher up.
I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not getting anywhere. That's I think that's the crux of what I'm trying to get. No matter how much effort I can put in, I'm always
just out of reach.
Just out of reach. I always just feel like I need to do more.
Yeah. Is that what brought you to this sort of idea? You feel like...
Yeah, these are all your commitments, all the things that are like unspoken. That same again. I don't like using the word trapped because it's like I'm saying that I'm not happy with my family. I'm not happy with what I have to provide for my kids. But when you have a kid, that gives you a certain responsibility. When you're married, you have a certain responsibility. So these responsibilities, they actually shape who you are.
And does it make you feel like getting like pulled in all sorts of directions, or?
We are though. So same with this one, you're battling your time against your work. Like you're always trying to spend as much time as you want with your family. You're always, but in the next breath, you're always trying to supply as much as you can from you and not taking this nice holiday. You can't take one on a nice holiday. You're spending lots of time away from them.
True.
But then, if you don't spend time with them, do they want to spend time with you on a holiday? So it's just like a constant battle of balancing all of these separate things and how everything fights against it. You just feel like you have to become this model citizen, and some people tell you, yeah, you have to do this, do that. So it's like, people try to tell you to do a certain way, but things are pulling you a bit different. I don't want to work on that. Be at home with my kids and family. Walking around and, but you can't, because you can't eat if you don't do that.
Yeah. What does this why hexagon over the heart as well?
There's a hexagon underneath this tower as well. Hexagon is a symbol of like a working class, like a worker bee. I had a bit of an obsession with bees and hives and how the shape correlates together. When I see it, I actually see like a flat note. A 2D version of the cube.
Like a silhouette of a cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hex, that's like working class. Job, full-time job here.
I'm distracting you from your job here.
Definitely, yeah.
And is this one also sort of related to the idea of being like tied up, and
This one,
or is it slightly different?
Same again. Sometimes I just see something, I'm like, I'm just making that. And I'll figure it out later why. I'm on a walk one day, I'm walking on this massive mountain, and there's a reservoir that's just below, and the reservoir supplies all the water to Manchester and Lancashire, basically.
Yeah.
In the local area, it goes through a pipe that's 90 miles long, built by Victorians. I won't say mega structure, but it's something to be proud of, and the fact that humans have gone to all this effort to harness the power of water, like gods. So I'm walking up this mountain, I'm thinking like, this is a lot of work, you know, like just appreciating it. And then I find this chunk of metal, and instantly I look at it, I think, trident. That's a trident from a fallen god. So humans have come and restoring the power of this water, which should be freely given by the promise to us. And we've like harnessed that power. So it's like humans harnessing the power of gods.
It's interesting that you're using water here to represent your time and your working life and that feeling of constantly doing something pointless, and then you've got the god of water trapped in a frame here. So it's almost like, well, so the way that I see that is like the managers, the bosses, the CEOs, they're the ones who are in charge of the company that trapped the water, is now making you like pay for it. Yeah. I sort of like.
It's such an underrated and underappreciated thing as well. The fact that you've got
like
fresh water coming through.
it's only like 50-year-old, is that or something? I'm probably wrong, but something recent.
The fact that you can get hot water, clean water, hot water coming out of your tap, that is it doesn't, obviously it doesn't blow my mind, I know how it's done.
Yeah.
But the fact that this infrastructure is upheld
Yeah.
and maintained, but yeah, people don't really have it. Some people might have an appreciation for it, but I feel like it's underappreciated. It almost seems to, it's almost like, it is seafood, you know.
Yeah.
Like, pull back.
And then there's one last little piece teetering away up in the corner.
That's the little Easter egg hiding.
Yeah.
Same, just like the clock, it's one of them things, it's just, that to me is like my hidden trauma, would you say? The fact that you have these problems, but yet you don't put them away on a high shelf, you don't deal with it.
Why milk?
Because it'll go bad all the time. So it might not be a problem all the time, but the fact that you put it somewhere and ignore it, it just sits there in the back of the fest. It's going to become a problem. Any rational person would look at that and think, why is it milk of it? And to take that down and clean it. Like,
Deal with it.
deal with it, yeah.
Stop hiding from the milk.
Stop hiding from the milk.
Don't cry over spilled milk.
But sometimes you can't deal with it. Sometimes you might be out of reach. Sometimes it's just, to me, it's just one of the things again. And it's like, I'd rather explain it in hindsight.
Yeah.
Milk bottles going up there. What's that? Oh, it's trauma.
Yeah, so even though they're so, like, all these pieces are so different, they're actually really, really interlinked.
You think?
I think so, yeah.
They're all depressive.
No. It's like the reality of the working, like, working class person, I suppose.
Commoner.
Reminds me of that song, Common People. It seemed like there seems to be quite an industrial feel as well.
Sorry?
It seems to be quite an industrial feel. There's not many colours, there's a lot of different materials. Everything's very,
I only
like,
work for stuff that I don't only work for stuff that but tank is free. But so it's 10p, you know, the tub that comes in 10p, you know what, we're free, bound, free for two, nothing, jumper.
your old jumper.
Old towel, thin bags.
Yeah.
Like, it's more costly. I wouldn't say that I'm like focused on recycling, but I don't want to go force something into the shape it is. I just like to leave what's around.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it adds to the message behind each of the pieces, like the feelings that you have in every piece is echoed in the very material that you use.
Like trying to give respect to the materials as well. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of respect goes into the material itself, so when you try and bend it to your will, it takes a lot from it.
Like, you're only as good as the material you're using. Like, you're not better than it, in a way. You're only a bin bag. You're just a plastic bucket.
I suppose I'm better than a piece of turd.
Well, I don't know.
Turd me, everything else.
Oh, fantastic. I'll get back to work.
Only the one. So usually I used to put the bucket down.